Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you're a Java developer. You've totally mastered the backend. Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're building a bridge from that solid, powerful world of Java to the super dynamic, user-facing world of modern UIs. And we're going to build that bridge with React. Let's dive in.
Look, we know you've built some seriously powerful, reliable services. Your data logic is completely locked down. But here's the thing. In today's world, the user experience is, well, it's everything. That slick, responsive interface is the only part of your application that users actually see and touch. So, the big question is, how do you make your front end just as impressive as your back end?
Well, for a ton of developers, the answer is React. It's the most popular library out there for a reason, right? It's designed from the ground up to create those fast, interactive user interfaces that just feel alive. The kind that keeps users totally engaged without those clunky, full-page reloads.
Okay, so to really get why React is such a game changer, we first have to look beyond our back-end comfort zone. Let's take a quick look at why a modern front end is so critical and just how different it is from the way we used to do things.
It all comes down to a really fundamental shift in how we think about building apps. As a Java developer, you're probably familiar with the old server-side way, right? Maybe using something like JSPs. Every single click meant a full round trip to the server and a complete page refresh. The modern approach, the one that React just nails, is completely different. The UI is decoupled. It lives in the user's browser, and it just talks to your Java backend through APIs to get the data it needs. And the result? Updates feel pretty much instant.
Now, that whole client-side thing might sound a little complicated, but the real beauty of React is just how simple it is at its core. It's really built on just two foundational ideas, and we're about to break them down right now.
First off, what even is React? The most important word on this slide is library. It's not some massive all-or-nothing framework that dictates how you structure your entire project. Nope. It's a focused, powerful tool that does one thing and does it exceptionally well. It builds user interfaces. That gives you, the developer, a ton of flexibility.
And the second big idea is something called JSX. Now, when you first see this, it might look a little weird, I'll admit, but trust me, it's absolutely brilliant. Instead of juggling separate HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files just for a single button, JSX lets you put the structure, the HTML part, and the logic, the JavaScript part, together in one place. It makes your code way more intuitive and so much easier to visualize.
So how do these two ideas, the library and JSX, actually work together? Well, this next concept is the single most important one in the entire React world, and honestly, it's where everything is going to click for you as a Java developer.
The big idea is this. You build your user interfaces out of small, reusable pieces called components. The best way to think about them is like Lego blocks. You don't build a giant single-piece castle, right? No. You build a bunch of small, simple blocks first, and then you snap them together to create something huge and complex.
And here's the perfect analogy for a Java dev. In the Java world, what do? You design classes to represent concepts, then you create objects from those classes to build your application. Well, in React, you do the exact same thing, but for your UI. You design components like a user profile or a login button, and then you use them to build your entire interface. It's the same mental model.
This whole philosophy really just mirrors the best practices of object-oriented programming that you already know. First, you isolate functionality into small, independent pieces. Then, you build each piece so that it manages its own data, its own state, just like an object holds its own properties. Then you compose them, snapping them together to build bigger features. And of course, because they're self-contained, they are incredibly reusable. It's literally encapsulation and reusability, but for your front end.
Okay, so we've got our powerful Java backend, and we've got our super flexible component-based React front end. Now for the fun part. Let's connect them and see what true full-stack power actually looks like.
So on one side, you have your home turf, the Java backend. Maybe it's powered by a framework like Spring Boot. This is where all your business logic lives, where you talk to the database, where all the real heavy lifting happens.
And on the other side, we have our shiny new React UI. It's built from all those little components we just talked about. It's fast, it's interactive, and its entire job is to give the user the best possible experience.
And how do these two worlds talk to each other? Through the exact same bridge you already know and love, a REST API. Your React app just makes standard HTTP requests to your Java endpoints, sending and receiving data as JSON. It's such a clean, beautiful, decoupled architecture.
What this setup gives you is this perfect separation of concerns. React is 100% responsible for the user interface and the user experience. Your Java backend handles all the important business logic and data. And when each part of the stack gets to do what it does best, you end up with an application that's way more maintainable, easier to scale, and just flat out more powerful.
And that, right there, is the biggest takeaway. When you combine your deep expertise in Java with the incredible UI capabilities of React, you're not just a backend developer anymore. You unlock your full potential. You become a true full-stack developer, capable of building amazing applications from end to end.
So after all that, there's really only one question left. With the power to build rock-solid backends and beautiful dynamic frontends, what incredible application are you going to build first? The possibilities are now wide open.